So what's your word of the week then?
Sexagesimal.
What? Welcome to Own It, Your Business and Your Life, with Nicola Cairncross and Judith Morgan. In this podcast, we're going to cover everything you need to embrace to become a successful entrepreneur, marketing, money, and much, much more. How to create a business doing just what you love. How to own it, your business and your life. This one will be fast, funny, feisty, and very lively. So sit back and enjoy the show. Born ready we were. Right then, Judith, how's your week been?
We were. Well, it's been very exciting, Nicola, because eventually it rolled around after we anticipated it earlier in the year. It was my 60th birthday on Monday.
Oh,
extremely nice day on Sunday with my family, yes, where I felt lots of love, lots of appreciation. I felt very celebrated and had a really nice day at home on my own on Monday with lots of presents that rolled in, and it's made me feel all really rather unexpectedly upbeat and optimistic about being an old lady. A few strange and funny things happened after we had that lovely testimonial from Leona in which she said my voice reminded her of Patsy from Ab Fab. A couple of the presents that rolled in on Monday were from my non-UK clients who clearly think I'm a quintessential English lady, because there was a preponderance of tea and biscuits. And, you know, while I can't have too many biscuits, I certainly can have too much tea. I don't drink tea at all. So I've got a house full of tea. So if anybody's in the neighbourhood in South London, drop by for a cup of tea.
Oh, I do have a house specialist teas here, or
yes. One of them I think I could actually drink, because it's proper loose tea that looks as though it's not tea at all. It's probably something floral. I think I could bear that, actually. And I do have a house full of flowers, so I'm having a lovely time. Just had a little bit of rain this morning, but generally the sunshine continues, which is good. And I wanted to share a story with you from Sunday, where there were some very old friends, a couple of whom turned up by surprise. I didn't know they were going to come, which was really nice. And one of them told a story. One guy that I'd known since the 70s told a story about when he first met me, and another friend who was at school with me said to this friend, "Have you met Judith?" And the friend said, "Oh, I'm not sure." And the chap I was at school with said, "Trust me, if you'd met Judith, you'd know." Which was a cracking story, actually. So there was a lot of things like that. And because I'm so old, there were people there who were older than me, but we regaled the youngsters with stories of things that had happened in our lifetimes that are now completely unbelievable. For instance, all of the people of my age, including my brother, who's just a little bit younger than me, went to work before the internet had been invented and before computers. And my brother was in banking, and he was telling all these stories about how you used to make an international bank transfer. It was all handled manually, and you had to look up bank codes in books, and it was all done by telex. But the children sat there with their mouths open, because they'd never heard stories like it, really, about what we used to do, before computers. Anyway, it was very funny. Yeah, lovely day, and and a lovely week, because I'm having quite a lot of this week off as well.
Oh, how nice. Now, I'm thinking that one almost has to have one's birthday at home nowadays, because you sound like you were having lots of deliveries, and if you hadn't been there or you'd been busy on the phone, it would have been really quite difficult, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would have been awful, actually, wouldn't it? Yeah, so I hoped the odd thing might be sent round, but you never want to count your chickens, do you, Nicola?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I am the go-to delivery house on this street because they all know I work from home, so they all put on their orders, deliver to number 22 if. Yeah, no, that's lovely. I'm so glad you had such a lovely day, and it is funny about that whole before the internet before thing, isn't it? Because when I'm watching Poldark, as I've said several times, Phoebe can't seem to distinguish between 300 years ago, which is when Poldark was, and when Downton Abbey was, which was simply 100 years ago, and
Yeah.
pre phones and internet, which she can't get ahead of,
Yes.
was the 1960s and 70s.
Yeah, no, and we had a bit of a laugh about telephones. I don't know if you remember the whole thing about a party line where you shared a wired telephone with your neighbours, and when a phone call came in, if it wasn't for your house, somebody would run up the street and get the person for whom the call was, and how you had to sit at a little telephone in the hall with
Oh
all
yeah.
the big telephone directories because you couldn't move away from the telephone, which is so funny.
And your mother constantly shouting out from the living room, "Get off the phone!"
Well, you know why? Because one of my friends reminded me you paid for a long distance phone call in units of 3 minutes. So one of my friends was saying when she rang home from university, you tried to get your news over in 3 minutes before the pips went, and you had to pay again for another 3 minutes.
Oh my God.
I know.
I remember the pips on
Well,
phone boxes, but I don't remember the pips on a private line.
well, there you go.
But my mother was actually a telephonist in the early 60s. She actually
With
worked
headsets
in one
and
of those.
wires, where
Yeah,
you pulled wires out and stuck them into holes and things.
absolutely. She was a master
Yeah.
at it. Yes. Very strange. Well, my week's been equally magical, but in a slightly more technical ways. There's one of my clients who is constantly referring gorgeous, gorgeous clients to me. I mean, that's where the Premier League footballer and the super yacht skipper came from. He's just introduced me to someone who is one of the biggest resellers of Infusionsoft in the world, not just the
Ooh.
country, in the world. And of course, all Infusionsoft users, what they need is funnels and leads to put in the front of them. So he's asked me to speak at their conference they're having in the UK in return for me doing some ads for them because they haven't really marketed it very hard, but it's very easy to get in front of Infusionsoft users on Facebook. There are hundreds of thousands of them. And I'm going to be running a nice little lead clinic. So I'll do my half an hour on how to get leads into the front of your Infusionsoft system, and then I'll go and sit in a room and people will come and talk to me about their businesses and I can give them lots of lovely
That's
marketing
nice.
advice.
Yes. What a very nice synchronicitous connection for you.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's interesting, because I was reading your blog about love earlier and about,
Yeah.
how you actually genuinely love your clients and everything. And I was thinking, well, all this opportunity in clients referral has come out of an uncharacteristically loving moment by me.
Yes.
Because I just offered to help someone who was down on their luck at the time and going through a bit of a business restructure and didn't have much money. And I said, let me run some ads for you, let's give me a tiny budget and see if I can get some leads for you. And all
Yeah.
of that has just come from that little act. And I don't know why I was prompted to make that gesture, but I follow my instinct quite a lot on things like that. And it's been incredibly, but as Steve Jobs says, you can't connect the dots until you're looking backwards.
Well, and also what that reminds us of is what goes around comes around, and give first with no expectation of receiving.
Yeah, and that's another thing that another mutual friend of ours, who we've both helped over the years, and has helped
Yeah.
us in fact over the years.
Yes.
We've just literally had a meeting together with one of the biggest publishing companies in the UK about running
Oh, marvelous.
their authors, which
Yes.
is really exciting too. And then, of course, the big news is I'm off to Vegas on Monday, so we will be recording our call next week from a suite at, I don't know what hotel I'm staying at, the Palms, I think.
Okay.
So we'll be recording our call from the Palms next week.
Oh, so we'll need to get our diaries synced. We'll need to do it later in the day because at 10 o'clock in the morning you'll be asleep in Vegas by 8 hours, I think.
Not necessarily. I wake up at 6:30 nowadays, so perhaps not.
Yeah, but Vegas is what, 8 hours behind?
Oh, I thought it was only. Oh, well, yeah, you're right. We better coordinate our diaries anyway.
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
But no, that'll be great fun, I think. So nice week. I'm trying to get everything done, and of course, more clients have popped up this week than ever before when you're trying to get things going. One of the chaps that I'm who's a friend of ours, and actually he's presenting in Vegas as well. He just popped up this week and said, look, I want to test something. My website's just gone live today. This was Monday morning. My website's just gone live today. Any chance you could run me some traffic to prove my theory? I thought, oh, well, yes, I can. I'll just squeeze you in the teeny tiny spaces. And I've taken tomorrow off, uncharacteristically for me, because I want to get all my hair and my beauty stuff done, pedicure.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely not going to let anybody put anything work-wise into that diary tomorrow. So it all has to be done today.
Well, today's going to be quite tense and exciting, isn't it?
Yes. It's the polar opposite to your Monday, that's for sure. So what's fueled your fire this week then?
Well, it's the quote that gave rise to that blog post that you've just mentioned, which somebody said to me in an email exchange yesterday. As I watch how you work and how you love your clients, I understand how little I love what I do, was what this lady said to me. And she was going to take some time off from our arrangement to go off and work out what it is that she would really love to be doing. But it was really, I do love what I do. And I notice how many coaches online say that they love what they do. And I teach people to love what they do. But it's a very easy thing to say, isn't it? Not so easy necessarily to always feel love for everyone and everything all of the time. And certainly, one never wants to be a cliche, come across as a cliche and say things like, I love my clients. What I liked about this was that she saw from watching me, as I watch you work and see how much you love your clients, I understand how little I love what I do. So it's a double-edged sword, which is it's helped me feel more congruent about what I do, but the reflection of it has enabled my client as well to realize that while she thought she loved what she's doing, she was, there's room for improvement there. So that's fueled my fire on two counts, because it did inspire me to write that blog about love. And I've always held to this view that we can make a business or a living doing things that we love, but it can sound cheesy on an off day, and I imagine quite a lot of people go, yeah, right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally do, because there are challenges with clients, but you manage to love them all regardless.
I do my best, Nicola. I don't want you to think I'm some kind of saint. Some days it's challenging for me, and I'm sure it's challenging for them too, because it's two human beings, and quite a lot can go wrong often between two human beings. But I think if we turn up every day with the intention of loving it, I do really, really, really believe that we can make a living doing what we love. And I'm very inspired by that concept at the moment. It was always the thing about a business to love and what made a business lovable. For me now, because I realized I'm not creating a business with the coaching. I'm just doing something that I'm loving and creating a living doing it. And that's how I want to, let my clients believe that they can do too, really.
Yeah, and I'm a living example of it, because I've since we stopped working. So I know you're no saint, because I used to work with you. but you always have the very best intentions, as do most.
Don't you think most people do?
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
You were just about to say that. Yeah.
As Michael Gerber famously said, we all do the best we can in the absence of a good system.
Yeah.
Which is one of the most liberating expressions ever for anyone who's managing people. I think it's a life-changing sentence, that one. But when I came out of that, I didn't know what I wanted to do next. I sort of had a vague idea it was something to do with internet marketing, but I floundered about trying to marry what I love doing with what clients need and what people are willing and able to pay for. And it's only really since last October, when I went to America, that it's all come into focus for me. And focusing on the Facebook ads, I absolutely blooming love it. And the thing I love about it is it's techie and it's creative at the same time. For example, what's fueled my fire this week is a new strategy that I've just learned, which is called content marketing with a twist, I'm calling it. where you take a piece of great content and you put it on your blog, obviously, and then you share it onto Facebook, and then you take that post and you boost that post to a targeted audience. And instead of paying something like 50 to 70 pence a click, I'm getting clicks for 18p. And what you then do is you pixel the people who arrive at your blog post, so you can then build an audience of those people on Facebook. And every time you put out new content, you do exactly the same thing. It's a long burn strategy, but because you have to pay out, unless you get opt-ins on that blog post when they come to your site, you are not getting leads immediately. But what you're doing is creating an enormous amount of goodwill. You're creating people who are really interested in your content and who click through to read. And you're then able to go back and not only market to that audience later on, but to create a lookalike audience of those specifically targeted people. And that kind of thing, it fuels my fire beyond belief.
Yes, yeah.
Started off there, I know you did, but
no, I didn't. No, I didn't actually. I was thinking it through, and also I was thinking about what you said. You said something like, "I love it, love it, love it." I do think that's catching and energetically compelling, so no surprise for me that there's a vibrational match between I love it, love it, love it, and the sheer volume of the right sort of clients that are turning up in your life right now.
Yeah, the people who've got great content, and because the hardest client to work with is one who isn't producing any content. I've got one client who I had to give a right old boot up the bottom to yesterday because 3 weeks ago we set her basic blog up for her so that she could start sharing the content. She's written a book. It's not like she's not creating content, but she seems to have a bit of a block about taking that book and sharing it as blog posts, which would get the search engines going a treat because it's all original content. And
can't she pay somebody to do that for her?
Well, she could, but she's trying to keep the costs down and everything, all that stuff. So
okay,
so she's on a budget. And but if she doesn't do it herself by next week, I am going to insist that she hires a VA to do it for her, because it's just not moving her business forward. And but the thing about the content marketing with a twist thing is, it works no matter how you do it. You don't have to pay to boost your post. You just put it on your blog post and share it onto Facebook. LinkedIn, apparently, have got a new feature where you can actually go and see. I don't know whether you need to be a pro user. You can actually go and see who is interacting, who specifically, not just how many people are interacting with your articles you put on LinkedIn. And that's something most people don't do, is put articles on LinkedIn. So be aware that you can go and share your articles in full on LinkedIn. And then you can specifically see who goes to have a look at them and reads them and likes them and shares them. And then you can make contact with that person on LinkedIn. I mean, the content marketing is just going berserk on what you can do with it.
And what I like about that is I am an avid content creator.
You are indeed, yes. So, neither of us are very fond of LinkedIn, but there's got to be a place for getting someone to share your some of your pillar articles, as we call them, onto LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And then following up to see who reads them and interacts with them and shares them. I think that's the thing. Concentrate on the people who share and like them, and then make contact with those people, and you won't be going far wrong.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of words in business that fill my heart with despair, but content creation are not two of them.
Well, tack on content creation leverage.
I liked content creation with a twist. I think that's what you called it. Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to present next week at the Mastermind in Vegas. That just the 5 simple steps to make your content go as far as it possibly can.
Do you feel isolated and alone in running your own home-based business? Do you have worries, doubts, fears and resistance which sometimes make you feel like giving up? Don't worry, you're not alone. In fact, you're perfectly normal. It can be scary all by yourself. But what if you could learn how to become a confident business owner, how to trust yourself more and grow your income, relax and be more creative and productive? Small Business Big Magic is a unique business mentoring group providing grounded practical support and advice, fast responses to your questions, inspiration and solutions to boost your clarity and help you find direction, focus and success in your life and business. Join Small Business Big Magic today for the friendship and encouragement of others just like you, and the enthusiasm of a coach who gets you and your business. There's big magic for your small business at judithmorgan.com.
What's our client challenge of the week then?
Well, it was an idea of yours from last week, actually. It's about free trials, money-back guarantees, client tasters, discovery calls at no risk, demonstrating value, try before you buy. The pros and cons of how much should we, what are the different strategies for enabling a client to either try before they buy or try at no risk because they can get their money back?
Yeah, this was prompted by me wandering around your website and seeing that there was simultaneously a offer for your small business Big Magic, and then there was also something on your navigation that let people try that for a much lesser amount for a certain period. I can't remember exactly.
No, it's a free trial for 30 days, so that they can taste it before they commit to a recurring payment. I don't have a money back guarantee on it. I let people out, easy in, easy out.
Yeah.
Is what I say. Yeah. I don't want them to be in handcuffs. And try before they buy is one thing that I've had some success with there. And typically in the olden days when we used to write long sales letters, we always had to have a money back guarantee. I'm quite good at selling, so if I give a client a free trial, most of them convert at the end, and if I have a discovery call, sooner or later they become clients. But I think one needs to be careful. I think that was your concern, is that so many people that we know give everything away for free, and we don't want them doing that, really.
Well, I thought you were shooting yourself right in the foot by having an option on the same navigation for someone to go and do it without paying for it. But you shot me right down on that one, because you said actually somebody had just signed up at the full price that very day.
Well, I tell you what I think there are. There's at least two different types of people in the world. So there's the stranger who will cruise by and find it, the offer compelling and not difficult to make a decision to spend £50 a month, and in like Flynn and wants to start. And they're the other people who are, and fanning about a bit and can't quite make up their minds. And the experiments that I've done with inviting people from my newsletter to try it for free are that 5 out of 6 people, I'm very confident about everything I offer.
Yeah.
So I know that if people can try it for free, they will like it. There are exceptions, which is it is a virtual group. We never meet up face to face. So you need to be able to make connections very well on a group call and on a Facebook group. And the people that do both of those things well, myself included, enjoy it. Other people want to have somebody geographically close to them they can go around and have a cup of tea with. This doesn't suit those people. So when I did it before and 5 out of 6 signed up, the 6 that didn't wanted real face-to-face interaction with human beings. I prefer this idea that we can connect up around the world, and the Small Business Big Magic is so affordable because I coach them all in a group, and what that means is they get a chance to opt in to a 90-minute call, which I run 10 times a month, and I coach them while other people are listening either live or to the recording, but they get individual time. So it's quite a strange thing, because I think there might be an anxiety around discussing your business or your issues in front of other people. But the thing they all like best about it, and this completely took me by surprise, is how much they learn about themselves from listening to other people. And the right sort of people who enjoy this environment are not in judgment of other people. And so those anxieties fade away, but they fade away better if you can experiment with that free to see if you like it or not. And so that's worked. But you know me, I like to experiment with different ways. Yeah, there isn't, there's no appropriate way to give them a money back guarantee on a £50 a month thing.
No,
because try it for free instead. It's easier, and then sign up.
See, I would have thought.
I think it depends what I was going to say. I think it depends what the offer is. I think it depends what one is selling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I would have thought that you'd two things would happen. One, that you wouldn't get anyone signing up at full price because they've got the free offer, or that you get people signing up at full price and then coming back to you and saying, "Oh, can I have that money back because you're offering a
Well, there you go.
free month."
Neither of those things have come to pass as yet. Not to say that they won't,
Okay.
because Nouts are queer as folk. But 30 days is 30 days. So for me, it's just another way of offering them a money-back guarantee that's actually more administratively convenient for me.
Yeah. See, my instincts would have been to keep the offer off the main navigation and just offer it to people who perhaps contact you with lots of questions, and then you could just say, "Oh, just try it for a month."
I don't really have those. It's quite a simple offering, you see, Nicola. If it was a lot more expensive, I think I would have contact from people with lots of questions, but I don't really have that. It's 50 quid. You want it or what?
Yeah, see, I've got a 50 quid a month membership like you have, and it operates in a similar kind of way. But I only offer the trial as either a bonus for something else, i.e. another product, or perhaps if I'm doing a promotion. I'm doing so many promotions this couple of weeks, it's unbelievable. There's sort of online seminar, everyone gets involved, gives away kind of thing. I'm doing 3 of those as a really intense test to see if they work. And the free trial, $1 trial in my case, is a really good bonus because it's got a tangible value that nobody can access unless they're part of this giveaway or seminar, or they've bought this product. So that $1 trials for a month are very useful for that as well. And but I only offer it to my mailing list after they've been through quite a long, intense education process about the benefits of signing up anyway. So it's sort of a last ditch attempt to catch a few who might convert, who wouldn't have converted otherwise.
Yeah.
So so on the guarantee front, I think with coaching it's a real minefield because you are totally not. In fact, someone asked in Internet Super Friends yesterday, what makes a great training course? And there were about 48 replies, and James Schramko popped up with a return on investment. That was pithy, I thought, but very pertinent. But you can't guarantee a return on investment because you're really at the mercy of whether anyone takes any action or not. And actually, in my experience, the people who you give the free trials to are the people least likely to take action.
Yeah, I've discovered something quite interesting about the 6 people that went through is that 1, 2, 3 were people I knew would sign up. 6 was the one that didn't because she wanted face-to-face. And of the other 2, I got them in the wrong order. The one that I thought wouldn't did, and then the one that I thought would didn't, if that makes sense. So you can't really make any assumptions about people. I don't really have many tire kickers in my world anymore.
Okay, yeah. So people come to your website and it's doing a good job of qualifying the right kind of people.
I think either you're the sort of person who thinks £50 for the first month is no risk at all, actually, because you can easily afford it, or that you are anxious about 50 quid before you know what value for money you're going to get for it. And I think I'm speaking to both of those people, those different sorts of people. From my perspective, it's this angle of what will it be like airing my stuff, my anxieties in a group. And what I found is that they report it's more valuable than they expected. And they can't know that unless they've had a trial. And either they can pay 50 quid and take that at their risk, or they can have it for free and take it at my risk. And it's the same difference, really. I think it's the world falls into different camps.
Yeah, absolutely. So we think they're a good idea.
Well, I think it depends, actually, is what I'm saying. It's a good idea for what I'm offering, but I don't think it's a good idea for everything. I can think of all sorts of things that you wouldn't want to give a free trial to, actually. We've all had people come along to our membership sites and suck out everything they can and cancel their sub. Yeah. So I don't think, you don't want to enable people to do that, I don't think. But if that's not your reality, I don't think they do. I think I think what you want to do is give people the opportunity to experience what you're selling at no risk. And whether it's a money-back guarantee or a free trial, it's to remove an objection, isn't it?
Yeah. With clicks and leads, I did experiment with the idea of giving people a free trial for 7 days, but then I realised it was so much work to set up a campaign, even a simple one, that it just wasn't feasible. So what I do now is I have a demo session that they can book into through my online diary. And while the quality of people I speak to on that is in terms of customer prospects, in terms of are they ever likely to convert to customers, is probably a quarter as good as the referral prospects. Because I can't actually demonstrate to them how much traffic I can get them. But what I do in that discovery call is ask them lots of really searching questions about their business and their profitability and their current marketing funnel. And I really demonstrate on that lots of value, because I give them an hour's worth of basically my best marketing advice. And they either respond to that and think, blimey, I'd like this person on my team, or let's get her on to do the ads, or it displays to them, I think, that they're not quite ready, perhaps.
Yeah.
So that's I love those.
I also think, because for us, even though we're giving them away, they may turn into a client. I think they can also turn into useful research about one's marketplace.
Oh, definitely.
And even if it doesn't convert into a client, it might. That person might go off and mention you to somebody else. You might get a testimonial out of it. I often ask for that when I do a discovery call. If you're not going to become a client, can you just let me have a few sentences and that I can share on Facebook? Whatever it is. There's lots of value that can be given and received, I think. So it depends how you look at the world.
And also, that's a great idea about testimonials. I hadn't thought, I haven't really been doing that, because actually it's quite a scary thing to book yourself into someone's diary and commit a whole hour of your time to an experience that could very well be a hard sell. That's what most discovery calls are actually.
Yes.
I deliberately don't go there. I say right at the very beginning, I'm not going to try and get you to commit to running Facebook ads for me at the end of this call. I'm going to ask a lot of questions about your business. I'm going to give you my very best advice. And at the end of it, you're going to go and you're going to make a decision in the quiet of your own home. And then you're going to contact me because you want to work with me. And
perfect.
I tell them straight up, that's not.
Yes, I think that means they can relax in the session then. And I think there's an abundance to all of this.
Yeah.
Which I think is interesting. And what would be lovely, I think, is if some of our listeners are thinking about their own examples, maybe they could send in some questions, in my own business, how would that work? Well, tell us a little bit about your business and we could give you some recommendations, perhaps.
Oh, episode 25 at ownthepodcast.com. And it's a good opportunity for me to remind our American listeners to text 33444. Sorry, no, I always do that the wrong way around. To text Own It Podcast to 33444, and you will get back a little text that will invite you to join our mailing list and get lots of lovely free gifts. Just thought I'd remember the public service announcement.
I think somebody came onto my list this week since you made that announcement last time.
Oh, how marvellous. It's working. There's nothing so nice as things that work, is there? Like my new kettle. That works a treat.
Oh, you've eventually bought a new kettle.
Yeah, I did actually secretly just go and buy one after we talked about it on that podcast. In fact, that's an absolute lie. I went to Tesco's with Sarah and she made me buy one. So what's your word of the week then?
Sexagesimal.
What?
It means relating to or based on the number 60. It's used for measuring time, angles, and geographic coordinates. It dates back to the 3rd millennium BC, which means it's 5,000 years old. And my brother put it in my birthday card. He says I'm his sexagesimal sister.
How do you spell it?
S-E-X, one of your favourite words,
Oh!
S-E-X-A-G-E-S-I-M-A-L.
Well, it's like two naughty words rolled together, that, isn't it?
Relating to or based on the number 60. It's a 5,000-year-old word, which is quite impressive.
You wouldn't think anyone would have lived to 60 in those days, would you?
Well, it's not about being 60, it's about the number 60. So it's used for measuring time, angles, and geographic coordinates. So it might be an angle in a triangle or in anything that is 60 degrees, for instance. It would be a sexagesimal angle.
Well, I'm just astonished at that word. I
suppose.
If it came off QI...
I was just going to say 6. It was probably been on QI. I was going to say 60 minutes. I wonder if that's a sexagesimal hour. I don't know. Anyway, there you go.
It's a sexagesimal unit of time. That's for sure.
Yes, it could be.
So now I'm thinking. Now I'm thinking of things that we'd like to last an hour, but rarely do.
Tell me your word of the week before this just gets too rude.
Oh, it's flow. Because I've been feeling very much in my flow this week. I was talking to Mark, this client who popped up on Monday and said, "Can you do something by like Wednesday?" And I said, he was saying, how are things different now? Because I was saying, of course I can. It's not a problem. I'll do it this evening if I want to. And he said, I don't want you to work in the evenings. I said, no, it really doesn't feel like work. I'm in my flow. And it really is so different when you're working in your flow. I'm sure all your creative and artistic and clients like that know exactly what it means. It's when you're doing something that you're really good at and you really enjoy at the same time. And it just doesn't it feels like it's coming from somewhere else. And I'm not going to get all spiritual on us, but
No.
I remember when I wrote the Money Gym email, the one that I don't think you responded to that one first away, but I remember I got 27 responses. But when I wrote it, I remember so clearly sitting down at the computer and feeling like it was coming from somewhere else.
Mm.
And flowing in through my head and out through my arms. It was
certainly a lot of my clients report that, and sometimes it happens to me as well. Certainly flow happens a lot. I don't always feel like the words are coming through me from somewhere else, but I do know what they mean, and I've certainly seen people do that live. I've been to workshops where it happens, and lots of my clients report it. In fact, one of them said it yesterday, so I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it really is a very joyous moment when you realise it's happening, because often you're unconscious of it and it's just happening. But to be caught aware of it is a wonderful, joyful thing.
I certainly think when you're sitting down to write that sort of email, if it just flows through you, you're doing something right.
Yeah, copywriting is something I very much enjoy, and choosing images is something else I really enjoy. So, for example, an ad can stand or fall on a great image, and I really enjoy choosing the images for our podcast each week, and I try to be a little bit left field with them, but still, capture the core of what we talk about each week, and that's
lovely.
A wonderful thing for me.
Yeah, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, and I think that's right.
Yes, a video's worth even more, but we haven't quite got to that stage yet.
No.
We'll have to making. Well, you know what we really should do? Oh, here we go. Something's just popped into my head there.
Go on then.
We really should do these podcast recordings as Google Hangouts.
You told me last week that Google Hangouts weren't working very well yet.
Well, I know, but then Yarrow Starrock did one in the middle of the night, and I watched the replay, and it looked awesome, and everyone was having such a good time. So I do have Webinar Jam Studio, so I'm going to have to get to grips with it when I get back from Vegas. And we could just experiment, couldn't we, with doing one?
We could certainly. I would certainly be prepared to do one experiment. Yes.
Ah, good. Okay, that's it. An idea and a commitment. We love those. Who or what's impressed?
Well, I finally got around to using the Cleaner app. Which was called Bizby, Bizzby. Only in London, I think, at the moment. The Cleaner got lost on the way round, but as you know, it's a common fault with that model. Geography and maps not their strong suit, but cleaning, fortunately, was her strong suit. It was very efficient, all handled on the app. I did have to call her to say, where are you? Because she clearly got lost. But the cleaning was fantastic. I was chuffed to bits, did that yesterday. And again, another example of something that works.
Well, see, I went and had a look at it after we talked about it, and it seemed to be an app that encompassed all sorts of service businesses, not just...
Oh, you're right, it does. You're right. It does childminding and ironing and gardening and all sorts of things. Whoa. It's not just cleaning. You're right, yeah.
Even more useful than we thought then.
Yeah.
That's really very marvellous, isn't it? Well, I've got my gardener coming soon, because our conversation about that spurred me into having that sudden realisation that I didn't actually I need to torture myself up B&Q, attractive as the young men who help you up there are. So I'm going to forego my visual pleasure for what's the word I'm looking for? The bigger enjoyment of sloth.
Oh, nice. Sloth. Yes, I wouldn't call you a sloth, actually, Nicola. I think if you're very, very busy and you're doing work that you love and you're prepared to do it in the evenings for clients, it's not sloth to have a gardener come around.
No, probably not. Well, we'll see. I just want to go out and enjoy it. So,
yeah.
My who or what's impressed is clients who trust. I've got several clients who don't trust me yet. They want to approve everything, and that slows the process down quite horrendously. And then I've got several clients who trust, one's like Mark, who turned up on Monday and said, just get it done, whatever it takes, just tell me what you need. And just love everything you do. And then there's some in between. And the ones I love are the ones who trust, that I'm going to choose good images, that I'm going to look after the reputation of their business, that I'm not going to put any typos, spelling errors and typos in their copy. And it flows a lot easier there. So clients who trust are a joy.
Well, I think that could be part of your ideal client profile, that they trust you. It's difficult with new clients, isn't it? Do you think some people are naturally trusting?
Yeah, I think it's all about the get it done mentality. I think people who are very, very professional themselves and who move fast and are action takers tend to trust their gut that they're hiring the right person, and perhaps they've already seen my work, for other people, so they know that it's going to be of a standard. But I'm very happy to let the first ads be approved, but then after that, it's a question of, as long as you don't make any horrendous howler typos in the ads, it's a question of just rotating images and things like that. So it's all down to the results and the data. So after a while, they don't need to trust me because it's all in the data. But
I think initially they need to give you a little bit of wriggle room as well to experiment, don't they?
Yes, and they do, because you don't know what's going to work. I mean, one of the best performing ads for one of my clients is a picture of a great big, quite scary looking beetle, but it's rather beautiful in its own way. But it's outperforming all the others. So perhaps if he'd not been such a trusting person, we would never have tried that, because he would have said, "Oh, I don't know, I'm not sure," kind of thing.
I think also that initial consultation. If one comes across as knowledgeable and expert, then that fosters trust, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I don't. As I say, I'm very happy to work with people who want to approve things first. But I love, and I'm impressed by clients who trust. There you go. 40 minutes on the dot, Judith. That's a perfect timing.
Brilliant. We're getting rather good at that timing thing, aren't we?
Yeah, rather efficient and enjoyable as ever. So let's talk after this call about next week from Vegas, live from Vegas, correspondence from the Palms.
Well, let's hope that live from Vegas works rather better than live from Malta, which didn't work at all, if you remember.
All right. See you next week.
Bye. Bye, darling.
You've been listening to Nicola Cairncross and Judith Morgan. Do come and visit us at ownitthepodcast.com. We love to hear your feedback. You can find out more about Judith and visit her on her website at judithmorgan.com, and you can find Nicola at nicolacairncross.com.